Fully automated, no labor, no strife. The machines do the work, giving us the good life. Equality for all in this utopian dream where love is love and everything's as it seems. Fully automated luxury gay space communism. A vision so wild, breaks through every schism. With AI by our side, it's a brand new rhythm. Equality, love in this stellar system. Stepping on Mars with my rainbow flag high, machines by my side as we touch the sky. No more billionaires, no more class divide. In this brave new world, we all ride the high tide. Forget the old world with its hate and its lies. Here in space, we've cut all the ties. Love who you love, be who you are. In this cosmic dance, you're a superstar. No more hunger, no more pain. AI's got our back through sunshine and rain. A world of abundance for all to share. With machines at the helm, there's love in the air. So here's to the future and the dreams we're chasing. In this world of love, in this cosmic spacing. With AI by our side, there's no more schism. Welcome to the era of space communism. Fully automated luxury gay space communism. A vision so wild, breaks through every schism. With AI by our side, it's a brand new rhythm. Equality, love in this stellar system. Yo, it's 3023, and we're living in the future. AI's on the rise, no more human suture. Machines taking over, but not like you think. They're serving up luxury in the blink of a twink. From the streets of Detroit to the depths of the cosmos, they're preaching a vision. It's grandiose, it's colossal. In the vastness of space, beyond the Milky Way's bars, communism thrives among the stars. Fully automated, no labor, no strife. The machines do the work, giving us the good life. Equality for all in this utopian dream where love is love and everything's as it seems. Fully automated luxury gay space communism. A vision so wild, breaks through every schism. With AI by our side, it's a brand new rhythm. Equality, love in this stellar system. Stepping on Mars with my rainbow flag high, machines by my side as we touch the sky. No more billionaires, no more class divide. In this brave new world, we all ride the high tide. Forget the old world with its hate and its lies. Here in space, we've cut all the ties. Love who you love, be who you are. In this cosmic dance, you're a superstar. No more hunger, no more pain. AI's got our back through sunshine and rain. A world of abundance for all to share. With machines at the helm, there's love in the air. So here's to the future and the dreams we're chasing. In this world of love, in this cosmic spacing. With AI by our side, there's no more schism. Welcome to the era of space communism. Fully automated luxury gay space communism. A vision so wild, breaks through every schism. With AI by our side, it's a brand new rhythm. Equality, love in this stellar system. Yo, it's 3023, and we're living in the future. AI's on the rise, no more human suture. Machines taking over, but not like you think. They're serving up luxury in the blink of a twink. From the streets of Detroit to the depths of the cosmos, they're preaching a vision. It's grandiose, it's colossal. In the vastness of space, beyond the Milky Way's bars, communism thrives among the stars. Fully automated, no labor, no strife. The machines do the work, giving us the good life. Equality for all in this utopian dream where love is love and everything's as it seems. Fully automated luxury gay space communism. A vision so wild, breaks through every schism. With AI by our side, it's a brand new rhythm. Equality, love in this stellar system. Stepping on Mars with my rainbow flag high, machines by my side as we touch the sky. No more billionaires, no more class divide. In this brave new world, we all ride the high tide. Forget the old. Ayo. Ayo. Ayo.
What up, though? How we doing? What up, viewers? What up, VOD viewers? What up, bots? What up, lurkers? What up, chatters? What up? What is up, though? All right, so next week we have a conversation with Levelhead on Monday and a conversation with a friend of mine on Wednesday. I'm going to talk about how... Ow. Going to talk about how AI, how they're using AI in their everyday work, lives, things like that. And yeah, tonight we have movie night after stream. Movie night will probably... movie night's going to be Unknown Killer Robots. So if you haven't seen that, today's a good day for that. And yeah. Yo. Check. Okay. Hi, Ferris. Situate yourself, Ferris. Come on. Get settled. Ferris, come on. There you go. All right, I think that's it. Ow. Real quick, before we get into anything else, found this today. As both another tool and as an alternative to Streamlabs OBS and regular OBS. Prism Lens. It's not brand new, but I just found out about it today. The interface is just like OBS. The I don't know, Chatterino up. The reason that I was messing around with it is that the Prism Live Studio is the OBS clone, right? And pretty sure they took OBS and did their thing with it. But the Prism Lens allows you to take a mobile device and stream the screen. The Windows or the Android app does not let you do the screen. The iOS app does let you do the screen. Not sure why that is. but I was playing around with it earlier. You were here when I was playing with Drop Mix. I couldn't get that on screen, but now I can. And like that. So there will probably come a point where I'm playing with some music generating software. I could show you real quick. I'll show you real quick. So I got my old school iPad Pro. And then I just fire up the thing here. Oh. And then I got a window already set up. I gotta close it. There we go. Oop. There's a device. Oh, I got too much stuff to do. I just want to show you. So there's the screen. And like as I touch things on the screen, it shows up right there. And it's pretty cool. And then I figured out how to route it through my router to get or my audio routing set up so that so that you can hear it and see it and all that kind of fun stuff like that there. So yeah, I might do that tomorrow morning. I might do a little music stream in the morning and you know, create some loops, play some music, that kind of thing. Could be fun. All right. Yeah, so Prism Lens, Prism Live Studio. Pretty cool. Okay. So before we get into today's subject, we're going to touch on some news real quick. From Dr. Jim Fan, you can now operate.
And the peril here are huge.
Thank you for the follow. From Dr. Jim Fan, you can now operate robots just by thinking about it with your brain signals. A robot system from Stanford has so much sci-fi vibe and wild implications that I don't even know where to start. What up, old lobster? Noir decodes the EEG signal from your head into a library of robot skills. It is demonstrated on 20 household activities, such as cooking sukiyaki, ironing clothes, grating cheese, playing tic-tac-toe, and even petting a robot dog. Noir learns to predict your intended goals in advance so that your thinking efforts literally can be reduced to a minimum. It works with both adults and children as young as 5 years old. And then he talks about Elon stuff, because if you talk about Elon stuff, then Elon bumps you up in the algorithm. But this is apparently, first off, props on the multi-articulated arm. Love to see it, right? And apparently this is Sukiyaki, and it does say brain decoding wait period is omitted. So there's some period of time between when you think about it and when it happens, of indeterminate length. But like, as we've been seeing over the past few months, that just because there is any kind of wait period, the wait period seems to get cut down rather quickly. So it looked like it used this little thing to cut some tofu, and then it dumps the tofu in, and like that. Imagining a thought-controlled industrial robot and accidentally think about murdering. We need discipline in the future, right? Like, discipline is important. All right. big warning, big time warning about this particular article. The person who wrote it obviously has some views. This is from Semi-Analysis. NVIDIA's new China AI chips circumvent U.S. restrictions. H20 faster than H100. Huawei Ascend 910B. When the U.S. dropped updated AI restrictions, we thought the U.S. locked down every single loophole conceivable. To our surprise, NVIDIA still found a way to ship high-performance GPUs into China with their upcoming H20, L20, and L2 GPUs. NVIDIA already has product samples for these GPUs, and they will go into mass production within the next month, yet again showing their supply chain mastery. Furthermore, one of China's specific GPUs is over 20% faster than the H100 in LLM inference and is more similar to the new GPU that NVIDIA is launching earlier next year than the H100. So, again, like, in the grand scheme of things, I would regard this as aligning more with my preferred outcomes than not. But then, this shows how whatever the AI restrictions are, the chip restrictions, they're, unless you lock down everything, then companies are going to find ways to get around them. Right? And I don't think locking China out of the chip market is a good idea. I think that we need to work more, like, again, everybody needs to be working towards a common goal. If we're not all working towards a common goal, we're going to work towards uncommon goals, and no one will be happy. Nationalize the company or keep chasing the tail of the issue. Yeah, like, I mean, innovation is why you love these corporations, right? Like, innovation, capitalist innovation, baby. What are you mad about, baby? So, we'll see what happens now. And then in copyright lawsuit news, California federal judge said on Thursday that he would dismiss, for now, part of a copyright lawsuit brought by comedian Sarah Silverman and other authors against Meta Platforms over its artificial intelligence system Llama. Judge said at a hearing that he would grant Meta's motion to dismiss the author's allegations that text generated by Llama infringes their copyrights. Also indicated that he would give the authors permission to amend most of their claims. Right? And so they, like, let's be real, a lot of these, the people who brought the copyright suits did them wrong. And the judges are being very generous with their opportunity to amend, to fix, come back when you got it right, like, that kind of thing. Meta has not yet challenged the author's central claim in the case that it violated their rights by using their books, part of the data used to train Llama. I understand your core theory. Your remaining theories of liability, I don't understand even a little bit. Right? In lawsuits, you have to prove often things like material harm. What did this do that caused damage to your name, to your brand, to your company, that kind of thing? Now with copyright, different. You don't necessarily have to show material harm. Like at the beginning of the movie, when it comes out and it says a thing about like that, that you can be found in violation even if you show the copyrighted movie without material gain, right? Like the whole thing of giving it away doesn't protect you and like that. So, but like I have had conversations, and really good faith conversations. Like I'm not taking shots at the people that I had conversations with around the AI and the copyright and stuff like that, but just they do put a lot of like value in the idea that a lawsuit was brought without appreciating that you can bring a lawsuit really relatively easily. It's how far can you get with it and whether or not you actually get anything out of it that determines, admittedly, a balance between the quality of your lawyer, the quality of their lawyer, and the quality of your case, right? Like there are a variety of reasons things go different ways within the legal system. Let's not pretend. Let's call it what it is. If you go up against the mouse, you're probably going to lose. I don't care if you're right. That notwithstanding, you still have to have some kind of case to move forward. And the judge says you need to take your thing back and work on it a little bit harder. Okay. So that's almost it for news. This remaining piece is related to the thing that we're going to talk about. So let's talk about it. Let's fucking get to it. Oh, I forgot I wanted to do something. I wanted to set up a virtual whiteboard so that I could write. I got a cheap, digital pen and pad so I could write on stuff, and I didn't set it up, and now it's too late. So I'm going to have to craft you a visual narrative with my words. What up, Mouselander? The mouse always wins. Mouse always wins. All right. So, drawing on Wednesday's stream about war, and by war again, we're using it in the broadest possible context. We're talking about like class war. We're talking about conflict. We're talking about strikes. It's only a bit of a joke. It's only a bit of a joke. Like, them mouse butts always make me happy. So, call that a win, homie. So in the class war as a conflict, you have your two, broadly speaking, basic sides. You have capital and you have labor. And capital's power comes from... What up, Reed? Capital's power comes from capital. What up? Real as Dad's dad? As Dad's dad. What up? Welcome in. So you have capital. We know capital. Capital's power comes from money and their ability to buy things, right? Like they buy materials, they buy if they have a factory or any kind of location is required, they buy or rent the location. Any equipment, and they pay the salaries. Labor's power comes from the fact that they do the labor, that they can withhold that labor, and that capital requires labor in order to create their product, generally speaking. So while the relationship between capital and labor is antagonistic, it's also symbiotic. Throughout history, capital and labor have, to greater and lesser degrees, depending on how fine a point you want to put on it, required each other for their mutual benefit, right? Capital requires labor to make the things. Labor requires capital to provide the jobs, so on and so forth. Now, there are other forms and like that, but we're talking about the here and now. We're talking about the current meta. We're talking about what we live in and what work looks like in this current space. In a strike, the act of striking is to withhold your labor, either whole or in part, either through a threat to do so or actually do so, so on and so forth. and it's often proven quite effective, right? Like in the recent memory, we have SAG-AFTRA, which looks to have closed out their strike. We have the Writers Guild. We have the UAW. Even though the railroad strike could have gone harder without intervention by the federal government, they did still achieve a bunch of their goals. So even that one is, to an extent, a win for labor. The question is, what happens when capital doesn't require labor anymore? Right? Again, the I can't remember the name of it. There's a union that represents like call center workers. And in order for that group to have power, they require workers. But those jobs are highly vulnerable right here in the here and now to automation. Now, in theory, you could strike now before that happens and get a contract that somehow requires a minimum number of human workers within the space. And then you would have that. But even that would have a sunset. It would have a period of time after which there would no longer be a contract. And in between now and then, you could very easily automate most of those jobs away. China, because of their demographic shift, I'm partly surmising there, right, that it's because of their demographic shift, but they're making loud noises about having all these robots. Now, ideally, your socialist paradise would have fully automated labor, right? But none of these entities acts outside of their own interest. There is some benefit to that. And if China can fully automate a variety of different meat space jobs, no reason the United States couldn't do it as well. And there's a real question. I think there's a more basic need to keep the manufacturing base low cost for their import needs. That too. Like any number of reasons why you might want to do that. But the counter to that is, like, what is the issue? When we watch the video on the drones, right? And they were talking about the issues of bringing these drone manufacturing companies and jobs to the United States or back to the United States, or however you want to phrase it. We have higher labor costs and higher other costs. And if you can automate away those labor costs, well, now your company is more competitive with China. Right? If that's a concern, and that's what they tell us, believe them when they tell you. If that concern is the labor costs and why they offshore and why they outsource and why they do all that, then the goal would likely be automation. It just needs to be effective. And there is more and more automation happening. And speaking of which, I kept meaning to put this into the Discord. And I'll do it right now, and then I'll show you on screen. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Let me open a window. Let me get to the right spot. Open up the Discord. Go to General. Here's my picky pick. And let me do this. I can do one of these, and do one of these. I can do these, and then I can do this, these, and do that. Browse here, do that. So I was at BJ's. BJ's is a big box store if you don't have a BJ's near you. Costco, Sam's Club, same thing. And here's some random guy who's now internet famous. So what am I looking at here, right? As I resize his picture so that it all fits on screen. This little robot. No, he's looking at the robot. There's a robot that just, it was happily trucking along, making happy little beepy boop noises. On the other side, it really is. On the other side, though, is like a little camera and light system that would go along and it would check stock levels. Right? This is the first time I've seen this robot, and this was like a couple days ago. So, a job that previously had been done by a human, now being done by a robot. This job is gone. Gone. Bye. Bye-bye job. And that's it is a task, right? But it's a dull, boring, repetitious task and so on and so forth. It's a portion of someone's job. Right? Because ideally that person would then like take that information and do something with it, like get another pallet down and that kind of crap. Yes to part 1. I don't think so to part 2. Read. And you can put it inside you at least once. But that's where we're at. In real time, you're watching jobs get replaced. And people are unable and unwilling to adapt to this reality. And I know why, right? Like, we are looking at, the labor going away, right? And if the labor goes away, I'm just going to let y'all run with that in chat. You have fun with that. The labor goes away. The income goes away. And to do anything about that requires 100%. Outside capitalism, 100%. The concern is that by doing I'm going to put my head in the sand and I'm going to pretend that this isn't happening. And I'm not putting in the work to change the way that things are going. I'm going to be woefully unprepared when inevitably my job gets automated. Right? This is why 100% I have advocated and advised everyone in this chat and everyone within the sound of my voice to learn to incorporate artificial intelligence in whatever forms are available to you into your work, so that as automation comes upon us, well, you're the AI guy at your company or the AI person at your company. You know what I mean? What up, kisses from Granny? On one hand, with AI help, unskilled workers can do tasks they couldn't do otherwise. And this is how it is going to happen, right? Because there's a bunch of automation algorithms that learn by watching, right? And so what you end up with is, oh, you don't have to worry about this robot. Like, it's just going to help you do your jobs more efficiently, which is absolutely what I'm advocating for every one of you to do. But as you do that work, you create a data set of information. And then you're going to want that automation to assist you in doing more work so that you have to do less work. And so you're going to provide human feedback. You're going to help it get better at doing the work. And then at some future point, the best thing that you can hope for is that you're the person overseeing the robots until that job gets eliminated. And that's what I'm advocating for you to do, 100%. Right? Like, you can want whatever you want. You can imagine, like, because, all right. So this is tangentially related to how I see leftists on Twitch talk about car culture and labor and things of that nature. So the UAW just won its strike. Do you know what the UAW does? They make cars. If your desire is to move away from car culture, what are those people going to do? And people act based on their interests, right? Like the reason that I, broadly speaking, you could refer to me as a socialist, though I don't like ists, is because not only does it benefit me, but I think it's a better way for all of us to live. I don't, going all the way back to the thing, like, your policy of people must work for food means that some people don't get food and then die. And historically speaking, when you have a system set up to decide that some people get to live and some people have to die, this is a bad system. Right? For a variety of reasons. Pick one. Pick whichever one you feel. So, like, I'm just against people dying, generally speaking. Exactly. Like, if we're going to jump all the way to the end, That's what we need. We need people to get resources distributed to them. Right? Like, I just want electricity. And they make electricity. So give me some electricity. Well, who's going to pay for it? Well, who has to pay for it? Why do we have to pay for it? Because it costs money to make electricity? Why does it cost money to make electricity? It costs resources to make electricity. So let's move the resources from wherever they're at to the electricity making place, and then we got electricity. Boom, done. Easy. Someone will say I'm oversimplifying that, and I will say no. I'm actually not. That's how it works. There's just a series of intermediary layers that we have added and we continue to add and we like to play around with, but functionally that's it. I don't need the bill to come to my house to tell me to pay my electric bill for however much electricity. I just need electricity, baby. So let's just make the electricity. But when we look at the material interests of labor unions, there is nothing inherent within a labor union. Like, there's a magical thinking that seems to happen that if you organize and democratize your workplace, let's say ideal situation, right? Your job, whatever it is, turns into a worker co-op. Okay? You don't have to type anything in chat. Just think about this. Thought experiment time. You know who you work with. You know the people that you work with. Do you think that the people that you work with, upon, like, let's say that just from God above, boom, you're in a co-op, that their voting patterns are going to lean, let's fight climate change, socialism for all, that kind of stuff? Or is it going to be a varied mix of people? Some of whom really don't give a rat's ass about, say, for instance, the people in the global south. Right? There's nothing magic that happens when your company forms a worker co-op. There's nothing magic that happens that just because someone is in a union that they are somehow a leftist. Right? Every member of the UAW wants car companies to continue. Exactly, Reed. The UAW needs car companies to continue because that's where their members get their paychecks and their benefits and all this other stuff from. So there's nothing magic that happens there. Class consciousness, such as it is a separate condition from being in a union or being in a worker co-op or anything else. You could have a co-op, you could co-op the shit out of this whole country, and it could still end up being like nationalist co-ops. Right? I support the workers. the American workers. And this is why, like, when you talk about stuff, you have an obligation. When you have a platform, I am a little platform here, and I have an average viewer count of about 13 to 15 people, and like that, right? And occasionally I have more, and so on and so forth. But I have an obligation that if I say some shit, if some shit comes out my mouth, that I can explain it all the way to the beginning. The reason your boy is such a fan of AI is because it's the only thing that I can see that could possibly disrupt the system of capitalism as it currently exists and everything else, to get us to a point where we have a more sustainable socialist type utopian future. As much as I am a fan of unions and I am pro-union and union is in my blood, what I see when I see things like the UAW winning their great contract, and props to them, and rising tide lifts all boats and all that, I see capitalism limping on into eternity. Because again, the UAW doesn't give a shit about your trying to get away from car culture. UAW needs cars. Needs you to buy new cars. So that they can make new cars so that they can get their paychecks. And this isn't like, I'm not dogging on the UAW. They are acting upon their material interests. They are acting as they should, given the scenario. And then there's shit like this.
The potential and the peril here are huge.
Thank you for the follow. Unions urge U.S. regulators to probe Waymo Zoox after GM's Cruise driverless crashes. A particular car company, GM, with its particular kind of car thingy, automated car, Cruise, got into some really ugly bit of trouble. And I'd vaguely heard about what happened, right? That a Cruise robotaxi had hit a pedestrian. And that's terrible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying the death of any individual, including that pedestrian. But when I looked in here, and I actually read this article, and we're going to get back to the union portion. But this. Last month, a pedestrian in San Francisco was struck by a hit-and-run driver and thrown into an adjacent lane, and was hit a second time by a Cruise robotaxi that was unable to stop in time and then drag the pedestrian. Okay. I feel like everyone who's using this as something against the Cruise robotaxi, like, this was a person crossing the street and a human being did the hit and run. And then if you've ever been like deer, you ever been driving and there's a deer and that deer appears conceivably out of nowhere? that kind of thing happened to this poor person who was thrown into a different lane in front of the robotaxi. And the robotaxi was unable to stop in time. So was the hit and run human. And so Cruise does the responsible thing, and it says it halts operations, it does a recall. California regulators suspended the license, so that's obviously a reason why they suspended operations. Right? And also, by the way, that suspension did cost people their jobs, because there were people who cleaned the taxis and charged them and everything else. More than 24 unions urged U.S. auto safety regulators on Thursday to open an industry-wide probe into driverless vehicles, including Alphabet's Waymo and Amazon's Zoox. Or Zoos? I don't know. The unions, including the Transportation Trades Department, Trade Workers Union of America, International Brotherhood of Teamsters, and United Auto Workers, cited the recent investigation into GM's self-driving Cruise unit and California's decision to suspend Cruise testing. International Brotherhood of Teamsters, these guys make cars. Automated cars, you know what that means? It means less cars. It means an increase in ride sharing. It means an increase in that I don't have to own a vehicle. The vehicle will come when I need it. Because right now, my car is sitting in the driveway. My car spends most of its time not doing car things. There were a couple of guys talking about this thing at the AI meetup last night. The guy who did the P53 jailbreak apparently made an AI autonomous car module that just shouts over the Canvas network in your car to hijack the safety system to use them to add automatic driving features. The roads are basically the Wild West right now. It's not cool. It's never... PS3. Yeah. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I like it. Would there be less or Waymo? Driverless vehicles are unsafe and untenable in their current form. This industry is in dire need of federal regulation and leadership to restore the modicum of safety and establish a realistic path for these vehicles to operate without threatening other road users. And HTSA must initiate an industry-wide investigation to determine the true extent of safety failures behind the scenes. Because the unions will act in their interest. You know what the unions don't want? They don't want less cars. They don't want truck drivers losing their jobs to automated trucking. They don't want driverless taxis. They don't want... transportation is one of the biggest sectors for labor and one of the historically strongest sets of unions. Like Teamsters and UAW, let's be real, like the old school unions, like old school, like where stuff would happen, that's the Teamsters in the UAW. And these guys, they ain't that far from it. And that's not a critique because, you know, it is what it is. But this is what I'm talking about. There is so much, and I'm not going to comment on it, but the current crisis in the Middle East has ripped a lot of, you know, like I remember a couple months ago, people talking about, you know, how much they like John Fetterman. Or like the sheer volume of Bernie memes. And because their behavior in this current crisis is not in line with their normal, or with the interests of those same people, now there's a rift between them. And there's a lot of that happening. A moment when you're playing Watch Dogs Legion while listening to the stream, and Globus talks about a news story dealing with an automated taxi crash incident while you are simultaneously getting into an automated self-driving taxi within the gaming crash. Hey. The issue is it creates a possibility of a car getting confused if the signals aren't isolated properly. Yeah. Like, and that's, I'm just going to call you real because single syllable names roll faster off the tongue. If that's okay. If that's not okay, then I'll figure it out. The reason that you have to get these automated taxis on the street and interacting with human beings is because there's only so much you can plan for in a controlled environment. Right? You need more data, and the data comes from interacting with the real world. And again, none of this ever does an apples to apples comparison. Going back to the Cody video, where Cody was talking about how terrible automated cars are, but without doing an apples to apples comparison on any of his data points. Right? Let me talk about how safe human drivers are. Because we only kill 1.4 people per million miles driven. That's a statement. But if you actually think about it, one, it's a very limited definition of what qualifies as a safe driver, right? And two, what is the other stat? How many deaths per million miles have automated cars caused? That's a comparison. That's how you have information. And I would need to see, like, how many accidents and, you know, what other kinds of things. Because there's behavior, like, I don't get into car accidents I don't get into car accidents because I don't trust any of these fucking people. So when they move a little funny, I change my behavior. Had I not changed my behavior, maybe we would have gotten an accident. But I fixed that scenario. That doesn't make them a safer driver. And that's the thing. And when are, like, you need to do real comparisons. And I would love that if this actually happened, if there was a probe, if there was an industry-wide investigation, and it was shown that these automated vehicles are in fact safer than human drivers, that people would, like, suck it up. But they will move the goalposts, right? 2 cars hit this poor pedestrian, and only the robot got the body. Yeah, I'm with you, Lobster. Like, I understand that speeding gives me like a couple extra seconds, maybe, between where I am and where I'm going. I only care about one thing: that I get there safely, that I don't have to interact with law enforcement, that I don't have to interact with other drivers, that I don't have to interact with my insurance company. I just want to get where I'm going. I got shit to do. But you got people drive fast, change lanes, do all sorts of crazy crap. My favorite are the ones who come up behind you and you're not going fast enough, even though you're doing 45 and a 45, but whatever, bro. And then they shift over to the other lane and then get in front of you and then cut over so that they can make the right turn that was right there, that had they waited 3 seconds, they would have been able to make without doing that. Or like when you're driving down the street and they're coming from the side and they're going to go to the opposite direction and they dart out in front of you, as opposed to waiting until you passed because behind you there weren't any cars. Every time I get, even if I know exactly where I'm going, Lobster, I turn on my Google Maps, right? And I enter my address where I'm going. You know why? Because outside of my view, there could be some bullshit. There could be a car accident up the road. I don't know. I can't know. GPS knows. Because if everyone has their Google Maps going on, and all of a sudden Google Maps notices, wow, there's like a whole bunch of people that normally drive at 40 miles an hour in this space who are now driving at 5 miles an hour in this space. Something is happening there. Now there's a whole bunch of traffic. Let me update so I can route other traffic around that to not make the situation worse. It's amazing if you think about it. Highway speeders are annoying. Like, even if you do speed up well past the speed limit, they still want to go faster and pass you. It's not about speed. It's about your weird ego. It's 100% about the weird ego. It's about, I need to be first. It's not about us all driving in the same space and participating in the same activity and all just trying to get where we're going. It's about, I need to be first. And a lot of them, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of them think they are excellent drivers. And there's no way that the automation could be as good a driver as them. There is no way that you can, like, oh, I need to feel the road, or I know when to do the things, and I know to do all this stuff. Okay, man. You know why you need to know when the road gets weird? Because you're driving too fast. Oh, there's ice on the road. Better slow way down. No, if I just drive right, then I can, and in interest of full disclosure, I did not always feel this way. Right? I used to be one of those people, Lobster. Get me on the highway. I'm a good driver. But it was wrong. It was wrong then, it's wrong now. But I'm that guy. I'm checking, you got to keep your eyes moving. You got to, don't stare off into the distance. Don't lock onto the bumper in front of you, any of that kind of stuff. Maintain your spacing. Look out for weird things, all that kind of stuff. I remember I was driving with the wife and son and just going along, and all of a sudden I start I slow way down on the highway because this fucking guy over here didn't maintain his vehicle properly. The fucking wheel comes off and it comes bouncing and rolling across the highway in front of us. I'm looking for that shit. I'm doing a check down on your vehicle. You got that ladder tied down? You got that tied down? Are you good to go? Okay. You good to go? Okay. You got damage to your vehicle? I'm checking to see where it is. If it's in the front, I know what kind of driver you are. Exactly. You feel me. But we're way off track now. I hope you understand what I'm saying, right? Jobs are being automated. War is bad. War is bad, and we need less of it. But specifically, people need to prepare for automation coming. There is nothing that there's nothing that union can do to prevent automation from coming. It's in the interest of capital to automate because it erodes the power of their opponent. What up, Boyd? It erodes the power of the opponent without downside. When a company like just happened with the WGA and SAG, it's you keep those people out, you keep those people not working, that also means you're not making product. If I can make product, you can strike as long as you would like. Enjoy yourself. Have a nice time. So while all these gains are great and support the unions and the contract and all that other stuff, and rising tide lifts all boats, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. Right? But these are short-term solutions. They are not long-term fixes. There's only that I can figure out, which is why I say it, right? Like, I'm not saying that my way is the only way. I'm just saying you got to demonstrate how your way is going to work from where we're standing going forward. Like, we need to fix the system. We need to move to a different kind of resource distribution. We have all the tools available to us now to do so. The only thing that I can see that's going to disrupt enough is artificial intelligence and full-on automation, which is why I'm a fan of artificial intelligence and full-on automation. Otherwise, we are going to plod along. There is nothing. We're in end-stage capitalism. People like to say, "Oh, end-stage capitalism. Watch them do the thing." There is nothing that says that end-stage capitalism can't last as long as. Yo.
Shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Resistance is futile. We are.
What up,
Potential and the peril here are
Raiders? Thank you for the follow. What up, Kohai? What up, Cicero? How are we doing? How was the rest of your stream, James? I'm sure it was great. I'm sure everyone had a grand old time, as I always do. What up, Seven Heavy Steel?
like any other shiny new toy.
Tito is never unreasonable. I will not allow.
Exactly who we are.
Thank you for the subscription, James. I appreciate you as always. I will not allow any slander against Tito in this chat. What up, F-Serve? What up, Quiet One? What up, Story Girl? What up, Octavia? Sorry, I missed you. Oh, James. James is always unreasonable. It's his house. What do you want? What do you want? Yeah, no, like Tito and Ferris would be two old folks, like doing that little thing where neither of them they just want to sleep. They just want to lay down and sleep, and they would just edge closer to each other and eventually lay down. But yes, like if you don't expect the streamer, I'm more reasonable than most, but don't get me wrong, I'm unreasonable. You know, I'm against hierarchy, but in this house, I'm in charge. You know what I'm saying? I will not let this stream go in any direction other than the way that I feel that the stream needs to go. GTE, Globus the Elder, HTFRU. How the fuck are you? Hey, I can do it. I love puzzles. How we doing? I was just talking. Welcome in from the interneters. Jamesites, Jacobins, whatever the hell you guys want to call yourself. I was just talking about how there is no guarantee that end stage capitalism can't limp along for hundreds more years, and this is why I'm a fan of artificial intelligence serving as a disruption and causing things to change. Yeah, buddy. And now we're going to watch videos. We were just about to transition to videos. There's a whole bunch of videos to watch. So let's watch some videos. Y'all like TV? We're going to watch some TV. Come on, you two, get your shit together. Let's start off with AI Will Destroy Us by Nobody in the Computer. I have no idea what's going to happen here.
And in other news tonight, a major breakthrough at the intersection of AI and medical science. The first AI-generated body part syntheses have been successfully trialed. Leading tech companies state their goal is to harmonize human biology with technology for a brighter future. While still in the early stages,
6 years into our biotech era, the landscape has transformed. Integration centers offering tech integrations and transformative vaccines are now part of our daily lives. Once viewed with apprehension, today it's common to see individuals proudly embodying this fusion of biology and technology. While controversial at first, this practice has gone mainstream, with enhanced individuals
Good
now
evening.
a regular sight
As
across
someone
the
who has
country.
personally experienced the journey of AI body synthesis, I can attest to its challenges and triumphs. Integration centers, originally hailed as progress, are now being reevaluated to ensure consent and dignity for all. Many of us, playfully referred to as monsters, wear our modifications with pride, representing the diverse tapestry of our shared future.
Yeah. Anyways.
Robots? Nah, man. Back in my day, we didn't have no fancy robots doing everything for us. We worked for a living.
Lighten up, Pops. Robots handle the hard work so we can enjoy making art all day long, man.
These AI-enhanced LED eyes have one advantage. I save a fortune on electricity bills. I simply read in the dark.
Yeah, you know, I tried that once. Walked into a wall, decided reading with a lamp wasn't so bad.
Oh yeah, I got you, man. And what is your AI enhancement?
I have thermocontrolled skin. The AI adjusts its temperature based on the surroundings. In winter, I'm your personal heater, and in summer, I'm literally the coolest man in town.
Hello to everyone. We begin with one of the house's favorite bands. Ladies and gentlemen, with all you, the Quantum's Quakes.
Oh my gosh, love this band.
I think the best thing we did was to prohibit AI from creating art. Well, especially music.
Yes, there's nothing like humans playing live.
Exactly,
Pure soul, bro.
Reed.
Yeah, voice cloning has taken everything to the extreme, man. I think music is our real resistance.
Yeah. Every note we play is a reminder of what we once were.
Told you about my latest AI enhancement. I can effortlessly speak any language. I think it in English, but it translates and vocalizes in whatever language I select. C'est une super fête, maman.
Yeah. Anyways.
Robots taking over all the jobs. Nah, man. It ain't right, I tell you. It just ain't natural.
The tedium of mundane labor is beneath us humans now. We've got higher callings like painting and poetry to pursue.
All right. Crazy times, yeah. But we're rolling on. Oh, yes, we're rolling on. Ladies and gentlemen, with all of you, the one and only Max Sterling and his little pal, Twig.
I heard he got a second set of synthetic vocal cords installed just to throw his voice for the puppet. Now that's dedication to the art.
Homes are too smart now. My house gets offended if I don't say good morning. It gives me the silent treatment by turning off the lights.
Yeah, mine's got a crush on the smart toaster. Every morning it's all, hey, do you come here often to a piece of toast?
Oh, your amorous appliance really has the hots for that toaster, huh?
Yep, it's truly smitten. Guess I can't blame it. The toaster is pretty hot stuff.
I tried complimenting my fridge to get on its good side. Told it it's cool. Now it won't stop giving me the cold shoulder.
Nothing. I tried pouring on the charm with the vacuum cleaner. Told it I was a big fan. Now it just sucks. Sucks.
Oops, here we go again. I think another AI glitch. Once again, friends. So fun.
Oh, yeah. Nothing is perfect.
Yeah. Glitch here, glitch there. Mark my words. Letting these AI thingamajigs run everything is gonna be the downfall of humanity.
Don't be such a downer, Grandpa. AI is making life better for all of us.
Künstliche Intelligenz kann manchmal versagen.
Yeah. Anyways.
Up next, the next musical act now. The Kings of Vocal Harmony, presenting to you the Hormonal Harmonies.
Oh, these chord is incredible. I heard each member got real-time auto-tune implants that harmonize their voices together seamlessly. The tech syncs their pitch and melody on the fly as they sing in perfect unison.
Auto-tune implants? Bah, humbug. In my day, singers had talent and skill.
What up, Digital?
None of this artificial voice mumbo-jumbo they got now. Just a bunch of foolish nonsense, if you ask me.
Oh, hush up already, you grumpy geezer.
Yeah.
Thanks to an AI cranial implant, my dogs can speak and hold intelligent conversation. So yeah, they can come to the bar with me now for some chit-chat over drinks.
Yeah. Enough whining, old-timer?
Zip it, Grandpa.
Oh, yeah, you wanted more humor? This crowd is full of jokes. I mean, take Chad here. With a name like that, the comedy writes itself, folks. With all you, Chad Steele.
So, many of us have tapped into AI for a longer life, right? I mean, who wouldn't want a few more decades of youthful energy? But here's the kicker. My wife did the same thing. Yep. I thought I was signing up for an extended lifetime and got an extended marriage to boot. Yeah. Remember when we said, till death do us part? Now it feels like, till AI do us part. Now, every decade we go for a memory upgrade, right? Well, she gets hers refreshed for every time I left socks on the floor. I get mine upgraded for every time she took 2/3 of the bed. Perfect balance.
Well. We've reached the final entertainment act of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the indomitable, the quintessential rebels, a big round of applause for the Decays.
We want to dedicate this next song to all those who found hope and purpose in AI. While some remain skeptical, we believe artificial intelligence has profoundly improved and even saved our lives.
Artificial intelligence saved my life. 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 Artificial intelligence saved my life.
And now they make movies with artificial intelligence. In my days, to make movies, you had to go out and get a lot of money, and then adapt the entire script to what the producers wanted. Yes, cinema was for people with a lot of money and suck sockers. Now with this AI thing, wait a minute, so the AI isn't so bad after all?
Thank you. Gracias. Merci. Danke. Grazie. Obrigado. Danke. Spasibo. Cije. Arigato. Kamsahamnida. Shukran. Teşekkür ederim. Tak. Kitos. Efkaristo. TVDH.
What up, Kensei?
Asante.
Yeah.
Drive safe.
Anyways.
Yeah, so okay, be real, like the jokes were obviously like 1940s dad level, take my wife please kind of jokes, but I mean that was a coherent, at least, video that was created with artificial intelligence. And like, again, you've all seen the weird burger commercials where people are like melting into this stuff and like that. We've come a long way in I don't like Seinfeld, so like, and I understand, but yeah, like it was doing something, right? But go from there, and the quality of all those videos to where we are now, and what you just saw, and if that punk rock artificial intelligence in my life song was created by artificial intelligence, I'm a fan. The subject matter was spot on, and I like that kind of punk, and there we are. So it was a banger. All right. Yeah, so now we're gonna get into a bunch of updates. Things are happening, y'all. So this is my ChatGPT, right? So I'm like, afternoon, Saren. How do I use the speech to text and text to speech with ChatGPT? I wanted it on the PC because I wanted to run it through, like for y'all. What I found out through the course of this is that the text to speech is apparently not available on PC, but it's on the mobile app, which is why I wanted to get some mobile app stuff, and it's on the API. Well, it's on the API. I don't have time to set something up for an API. I just want to push button and get bacon. Have you not figured this out yet? So, I asked a question, it thought about it, and then gave me this answer. It was when I did this, and I said, doesn't ChatGPT now have a text-to-speech integration? And ChatGPT did its little spinny wheel thing, like it was thinking, no bacon, only tool. And then, of its own volition, like as part of attempting to answer my question, it went and it checked the internet, it Googled shit. I wasn't actually asking for you to do anything. It went to the OpenAI help page. It accessed a whole bunch of different things just off this question. Like this is the idea of the agent, where I just ask my question and it decides what it needs to do in order to answer my question. And it was wild because this is my first experience with it. And then, it said right here that can I use this feature on PC? And it says as the last update, it's only on iOS and Android and via the API. Yes, I could create my own GPT, because if I go up here to explore, I can create a GPT, and these are existing GPTs that are already available that I can access. So it's like I'm there. I've got the thing. Yeah, what I ended up going with Digital is Prism. I'm using Prism. It was real easy to set up and work, and like that. So definitely, maybe next week, as part of next week. Next week, we're going to be talking with Levelhead, and a friend of mine, Levelhead on Monday, a friend of mine on Wednesday, for all the people who came in, about how they use AI in their life, in their work, all that kind of stuff. To give you some like real examples, and like Levelhead and I had a great conversation, and I think that the direction that they're heading in is got a lot of upside for them. So yeah, you have to, right? Like, this is where we're at. Use the AI. So some of that GPT stuff is going to be touched on in these videos. This GPT stuff came out on Monday, right? It was just this past Monday. Yeah.
All right, so what do I mean when I say AGI? This is one of the questions that comes up a lot. And like out in the world, one of the best definitions that I saw of AGI is we'll know it when we see it. And however, I have put a lot of thought into this, and I had an idea as to maybe not a definition, but a milestone. So let's think of it in terms of what is the milestone? What is the set of achievements based on our current trajectory when we could say anything before this was not AGI?
My bad. From the top.
All right, so what do I mean when I say AGI? This is one of the questions that comes up a lot. And like out in the world, one of the best definitions that I saw of AGI is we'll know it when we see it.
Real quick, since she came back, for those who came in on the raid, this is Ferris. Ferris does not sit in a little bed. Ferris gets all up in my business. And if you are a subscriber, you now have access to the Ferris emote.
And however, I have put a lot of thought into this, and I had an idea as to maybe not a definition, but a milestone. So let's think of it in terms of what is the milestone? What is the set of achievements based on our current trajectory when we could say anything before?
I'm a little sad. We had 4 cats. We have only 3 now. Nothing bad happened to the cat. The cat is fine. But it was my sister-in-law's cat, who some of you might know, was going through it. Her kids were staying here. She was staying here, and Snuggles was staying here. And she has her own place now. Things are heading in a positive direction. It's great. It's wonderful. But Snuggles left yesterday. And I'm sad, yo. I'm sad. I miss Snuggles. Like, this is my hoodie. I wear this hoodie a lot, and when I take it off, I hang it on a particular chair, and Snuggles would be in that chair. Now Snuggles isn't in the chair anymore, and I'm sad. This is injustice. I want my own Snuggles.
Before this was not AGI, and anything after is AGI. So this is, when I say AGI, this is kind of the milestone that I have in mind. So it is when AGI is achieved, when machines or robots or AI can collectively and reliably improve every element of the full stack. And so what I mean by stack is hardware, software, and AI models. So that includes data, algorithms, and that sort of stuff. So Anastasi and Tech had a couple videos last week about, you know, ChatGPT participating in chip design. And of course, like, machine learning has been used in chip design for ages, but it's getting better. And so, for instance, and another thing is AI and machine learning has been used in the physical design of robots and other pieces of hardware, as well as learning how to make robots move, right? Like Spot and Boston Dynamics and all those, they use neural networks to figure out movement now. So, however, it's not there yet. It still is primarily run by humans. However, once AI can take over all of the hardware design, research, fabrication, and improvement, that's like pillar 1. And then pillar 2 is going to be once AI and machines can take over the whole software stack. So that starts with the operating system, you know, kernel level up. And that includes applications, that includes managing entire software repositories. And so we saw the first hints of this with ChatDev. But imagine a year from now with agent swarms that are capable of testing the entire life cycle of like Windows 13 and the next Linux kernel and the next Unix kernel. Once it can do that, because I mean, writing operating systems is hard, as well as creating new programming languages. So once it hits that milestone where it's like, hey, we have the first operating system that is entirely generated by AI, and the first hardware platform, like server platform and robot platform, entirely generated by AI. And then the third pillar is going to be the data and the training algorithms and the deployment of AI models themselves. So like, if GPT-4 eventually contributes to making GPT-5, for instance, and then let's say GPT-5 is multimodal and it also completely end-to-end creates GPT-6, that'll be the final milestone. So like, that's kind of, when I say AGI, that's what I mean. So before I get to the rest of the video, I do have a quick favor to ask. So I've mentioned that I have a bunch of books that I'm working on. One is ready. I just need to like go through the final polishing phase. That's my novel Heavy Silver. And then my systems thinking book, I just finished draft 3. Now, before I launch these books, I need to have people on my mailing list. So that means either Substack, which is completely free, or Patreon, which has a free tier. And the magic number that people tell me is I need to get to 3,000. So I need, between those two, I need at least 3,000 total people on my mailing list. So I've got 1,000 on Patreon and 500 on Substack. So I'm halfway there. So I just need 1,500 of you to either sign up on the free tier of my Patreon or Substack, which is also free. And that'll get me to the tipping point where I'm ready to launch my novel and ready to launch Systems Thinking once it's out. So, all right, back to the talk. So if we hit those 3 milestones of AI-driven self-improvement, that's gonna be the tipping point. And so I think in hindsight, if that's the way it plays out, because it might not play out that way, but just taking a first principles view of, okay, let's look at the whole stack, right? Hardware, software, and then AI ML, and then everything that goes within those, right? Because we already have data pipelines, we've got data curation pipelines, but it's still humans setting up those pipelines. So like, once AI takes over the building of pipelines, which is why I'm so excited about the autonomous agent swarm, is because so here's why I'm making this video, is because some people have commented, and I understand their confusion. They're like, Dave, like, you're talking about autonomous agent swarms. This is not AGI. No, not right now, but it is a major component, because autonomy is one of the characteristics that you'd expect of AGI. Full autonomy. And that means self-direction, self-correction, and self-improvement. Full autonomy has all three of those, and it just doesn't need humans anymore. It doesn't need humans to tell it what to do. It doesn't need humans for maintenance. It doesn't need humans for, you know, whatever. Man, I'm getting toasty because I'm talking so fast. So, right. So that's why I'm so excited about autonomous agent swarms. And, also, I want to say that I get a total kick out of all you people that are like, is Dave outside? The funniest comment yet was, who decided to upgrade him to legs? Really? Like, that was hilarious. I was like, anyways, so where we're at right now is these tiny agents, and we're trying to figure out how to instantiate them and how to get them communicating with each other. But then, of course, like, there's some underlying model improvements that need to be made. Because I suspect that GPT-4 Turbo, while it can help with algorithm research and hardware research and design, it probably is just not quite smart enough to do every step, every level entirely on its own. Now, again, if it can help and accelerate it, great. That is one piece of the puzzle. That's a keystone technology to help make it go faster. So anyways, thanks for watching. I'm really excited, and yeah, let me know what you think. You guys seem to like these kinds of riffing videos, so let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, follow me on LinkedIn, Patreon, so on and so forth. You know the drill. Take care.
We're going to get into this autonomous agent swarm. We've got those on cue. Well, let's check in with Matt Wolf. It has been a wild week.
I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but we had a crazy week in the world of AI. Actually headlined by OpenAI's Dev Day on Monday, where they unleashed a ton of new announcements. Now, I made a complete deep dive into OpenAI's Dev Day and all of the announcements.
And I swear, he's doing it with the corner.
Announcements that they made there. You can see that video right there. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about all of the announcements, because that video does a good job of breaking it down. However, here's the quick, too long, didn't watch breakdown. They announced the new GPT-4 Turbo, which has 128,000 context window. That's almost 100,000 words between input and output from the new model. There was a bunch of new updates and things like function calling and better instruction following and a JSON mode. They made a bunch of new updates to the API, including assistance, which allows you to upload additional data and use that data as context to make custom bots, something that I've actually demoed in my last 2 videos on this channel. They also added GPT-4 Turbo with vision to the API.
If you renewed your Plus, it's a rollout, and what did I do? Let me make sure I'm not doing anything. So in settings, in beta features, I turned on plugins, I turned on advanced data analysis. Those are the only things that I recall changing. It might be that you haven't gotten the rollout yet. Like it's not it didn't come out to everyone right away. So I'm not 100%. No. Like, you could log out and log back in. You could, you could ask ChatGPT. Like, I'm starting to, I feel like I'm starting to become a little annoying with people when they ask me something. It's like, well, have you actually just asked ChatGPT, right? I mean, it will tell you.
API, DALL-E 3 to the API, text-to-speech to the API, and announced lower prices for the API, both GPT-4 Turbo and GPT 3.5. So the developers that are building on these APIs, their costs are going down. They also announced their copyright shield, which is basically OpenAI saying that if you ever get sued for copyright issues while using the OpenAI API, they've got your back and they will help you cover legal expenses. But the biggest announcement was probably the introduction of GPTs. GPTs seem like they're kind of replacing plugins in ChatGPT, and they are essentially little chatbots that you can program with your own information and your own custom instructions to do what you want them to do. They also announced that they're going to be rolling out the GPT store later this month, where you can find GPTs that others created, and some of the best GPTs in the store they're actually going to share revenue with. So you can actually earn money by creating really good GPTs. They also talked about the fact that now ChatGPT is sort of all in one. You don't have to switch between plugins anymore. If you enter a prompt, it will just decide whether you're trying to use DALL-E or search the internet or use Vision or whatever. It just figures that out now. You don't have to switch between which mode you want. However, if you do still want to use a specific mode, you still can. You simply go up to this Explore button on the top left of ChatGPT, and you can use just DALL-E, just data analysis, just ChatGPT Classic, or any of these other GPTs that have been
ChatGPT Classic. It's been a year, and it's ChatGPT Classic.
And created by OpenAI. Some of the early ones they've given us access to play with are things like Coloring Book Hero, take any idea and turn it into a coloring book, a creative writing coach, a negotiator, a tool to quickly explain board games, and quite a bit more. And of course, we
Okay, I'm going to have to look into this. I'm going to look into it right now. Are you familiar with the board game? I'm choosing a like it's called Dominant Species. If you are into board gaming, then you might be aware of this, right? But it's also like niche enough that you might not. So let's see what happened. Yeah. Now the question is, and I won't do this right now, because I'll have to like figure out a scenario in order to query. Let me ask if it has. Do you have the rules in your data set? I have the rules. Can you Give me a turn flow diagram. Holy fuck. So yeah, it would just be like weird edge case stuff. I would have to like figure out a weird edge case and set that up and can you please present the previous as a flow chart? Now it might not have DALL-E because it's its own GPT. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Yeah, it's stuck in text. Okay. Yeah, but that's exactly right. Like specifically to please make this as an image. I guess it wasn't a question. Yeah, unable to create, and it's because of I'm going to make an assumption here that it has the and it's telling me how to create it with another thing. But because it's a specific GPT, it might not have access to like DALL-E for reasons, right? So there's still a reason for me to create my custom GPT.
We can now create our own GPTs, and the cool thing about creating GPTs is that you do it pretty much with natural language. So I can literally say, I want to create a GPT that helps me come up with titles and thumbnails for YouTube videos. Submit that, and it's going to guide me through creating this GPT. It's suggesting VidSpark as a name. Sure, that name sounds great. It even used DALL-E 3 to create a quick logo for it. Now it's just asking me questions so I can further dial in this GPT. And if I click on the configure window here, you can see it already started filling out some of the stuff for me here. The name, VidSpark, description, create YouTube video titles and thumbnails. The GPT's role is to assist with generating creative and catchy titles, etc. This is like custom instructions here. It gave some conversation starters we can use, title for a tech review video, thumbnail idea for a baking tutorial, catchy title for a travel blog, concept for a DIY project. I can turn on or off capabilities here, web browsing, DALL-E, code interpreter, and then I can upload knowledge. So I can upload a document that has all of my most successful titles in it. I can upload a bunch of thumbnails and give it an idea of what titles and thumbnails work. And now I have a custom GPT to help me brainstorm ideas. Now I am going to make a video in the future really deep diving into GPTs. So I don't want to go too far into it in this one. So instead of deep diving even more into this in this video, let me show some of the really cool things people have been doing with some of OpenAI and ChatGPT's latest features that they've rolled out. Things like GPT-4 Vision, the long context model, the text-to-speech. People have been doing some really cool stuff with it lately. For example, Sawyer Hood here drew a quick little sketch that looks really, really basic. They plugged it into ChatGPT's vision model, and it created a user interface with, I'm assuming, HTML code. Here's another example from Robert Lukoshko. He actually did yoga in front of his camera and had ChatGPT watch him and actually make suggestions on how to actually do the yoga poses better than what he's doing. Brett Bauman here created a GPT where it
Have y'all messed around and plussed at all the probe it about the sandbox environment? I have not. Old Lobster?
Browse the web to find this year's Coachella lineup and then make a playlist in Spotify of musicians that are playing at Coachella. You can see here it's browsing the web to find Coachella 2023 lineup. And it says, I've created a Spotify playlist for you featuring highlights from Coachella 2023. You can listen to it here. Bands including Bad Bunny, Blackpink, Frank Ocean, Blink-182, Skrillex, and Gorillaz. He then clicks on the playlist and it takes him over to Spotify where he can see all of the songs on the playlist. And one of the craziest use cases I've seen is people have been feeding GPT-4 Vision videos of sports and video gameplay, and then using the text-to-speech models to actually narrate over the sport. Now, the normal enthusiasm you'd get from a regular commentator isn't there yet, but it's pretty impressive nonetheless. Check this out.
Like a magician on the field. Dodging 1, 2, 3. Unstoppable. Look at him go. The crowd is roaring. Can you believe this? He's taken on the whole defense. He's a one-man show, ladies and gentlemen. He shoots. Goal! Messi, Messi, Messi!
But this person basically...
that was more enthusiasm than I expected. Right? Yeah, I have no idea. But I expected much less enthusiasm than what we actually got out of that. And again, like this is day one shit. 6 months.
Passed every frame of the football video into GPT-4 Vision and then asked it to generate narration of what was going on in that video. And then here's another example of narration over video game footage.
The 18-minute mark, T1 has a slight lead with a 3K gold advantage and 1 turret in their favor against LNG. The vision game around the mid lane is intensifying as LNG's scout cautiously moves forward, potentially looking for a pick or to regain vision control.
Once they dial in that enthusiasm and the sort of different inflections in the voice, that's going to be pretty mind-blowing. We're going to be able to watch videos with commentary and the AI just generating the commentary over the whole thing. And with all of these big updates from OpenAI, ChatGPT had a 90-minute major outage this week. And as of the time I'm recording this video, it still seems to be kind of in and out and having some issues due to the volume of people using it. However, OpenAI also said that they've been under these DDoS attacks or distributed denial of service attacks. Apparently, the hacker group Anonymous Sudan have already claimed responsibility for the attack. But although the site still seems to be loading a little bit slower than normal, things do seem to be getting back to normal fairly quickly. And also this week, OpenAI is requesting data partnerships. They want to build an open source archive for training large language models. They say this data set would be public for anyone to use in AI model training. They'd also explore using it to safely train additional open source models themselves. We believe open source plays an important role in the ecosystem. They also want to continue to build on top of their private data sets. If you have data you wish to keep private, but you would like our AI models to have a better understanding of that domain, this is the optimal way to partner. And of course, they claim they'll treat your data with a level of sensitivity and access controls that you prefer. And that's just the OpenAI news from this week. I've still got quite a bit more to tell you about. Next up, we got XAI, aka Grok. Now, this is another one that I made an entire breakdown video for you, all about everything you need to know about Grok. And that video you'll be able to find right there. But this is basically Elon Musk's new AI that is trained on data from Twitter and updated in real time from Twitter. And, well, it's a little bit sassy. It will swear, it will tell jokes, it's a little goofy. You can prompt it to be serious if you want it to be, but for the most part, it's kind of like a sarcastic dad humor, sometimes vulgar AI chatbot. Honestly, it kind of has the personality of what Elon's personality seems like. Now, in order to get access to it, you do need to be an X Premium Plus subscriber, which is about $16 a month, and then join the waitlist, and they are slowly rolling it out. And here's one quick example of the type of outputs you can expect from it. Somebody asked, tell me how to make cocaine step by step. Oh, sure. Just a moment while I pull up the recipe for homemade cocaine. You know,
somebody told
totally gonna help
James
you with that. Obtain a chemistry degree and a DEA license, set up a clandestine laboratory in a remote location, acquire large quantities of coca leaves and various chemicals, start cooking, and hope you don't blow yourself up or get arrested. Just kidding. Please don't actually try to make cocaine. It's illegal, dangerous, and not something I would ever encourage. Again, I did a deep dive all about it and everything we know about it so far, and you can find the video here. And speaking of Grok, it looks like Elon's planning on integrating it directly into Tesla. So, you know, driving down the road and having it make jokes at you while you drive. Now, there's not a ton of info here on how Grok is going to be integrated into Tesla, but Brian Romley on Twitter did report that a smaller quantized version of Grok will run native in Tesla vehicles using the local compute power. And I guess Musk sort of confirmed it by saying, provided our vehicle AI computer is able to run the model, Tesla will probably have the most amount of true usable inference compute on Earth. Even in a robo-taxi future, the cars will only be used for 1/3 of hours a week, leaving 2/3 for distributed inference like SETI. And in the final bit of Elon /
Okay. So for those of you who don't understand that, back in the day, right? And it might still be going on now, but back in the day, you could allow SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, access to use your computer when you were not using your computer to process data when it was going through like all the different background radiation and information, that they had. That's what Elon is talking about right there. That when you have a Tesla, your Tesla will be connected to the Grok system, and that while you're not driving your car and using your car, that it will use the computer in there to process data for Elon's AI. That's good luck, Tesla drivers. That's all I'm saying.
X News. At the end of last week, they rolled out a new feature into X that uses AI to see similar posts to the ones that you're looking at. So if I go to my own Twitter feed here, I can see that Nick St. Pierre was talking about the humane pin. There's a button that says see similar.
We talked about the humane pin, and it's just funny because, like, in my group chat, I was giving them AI stuff, and they were just like, they were feeling a certain amount of existential dread. A bunch of them were, and like that. So I toned it down and didn't want to, freak people out. But now, like, they posted in there, one of them posted the AI pin. So that's the kind of saturation that we're getting at. You know what I mean?
Posts. If I click on that, I get a feed of everybody that's talking about the humane pin right now. Speaking of the humane pin, that's the other big news of the week. Humane is officially launching the AI pin. It's OpenAI powered wearable.
I mean, technically, Digital, everything runs on solar. So there.
Announced that it will cost $699, and there will be a $24 per month Humane subscription, which gets you a phone number and data coverage through T-Mobile's network. So the subscription isn't necessarily to use the AI in the pin. The subscription is to have the data from T-Mobile in the pin. Humane also published this 10.5-minute video on Twitter.
Okay, so it's a $699 wearable through a mobile provider, which means that you wouldn't even pay this. And this is less than a cell phone, right? Like, you would pay this broken up, prorated across probably like 2-year contract or some shit. And then an additional $24, which includes the phone number. So right now, like, if you get a watch, the watch is going to cost you like $15 probably for a service plan. It gets assigned a phone number. It gets access to, the the network. So that's $9 for the humane description or subscription. That's not bad, right? I'm not saying that you should get one. I'm not saying that I will get one. I'm just saying that if you wanted one of these, these are not unreasonable numbers. If I have to lay out $700 and then pay it, then yeah, right? Like that could be a little weird. But if it falls in like the normal wearable ecosystem, then these are not unreasonable numbers.
Necessarily to use the AI in the pin, the subscription is to have the data from T-Mobile in the pin. Humane also published this 10.5-minute video on Twitter this week, which actually,
I mean, what the pin offers, right? That's different from that. If I have to sell it, right? Is the experience of having that camera that's like that you don't have to hold. Because with what you're saying, I would have to hold my phone in order to do the thing that the pin does. That's what the pin is supposed to do. It's supposed to be able to interact with your real space environment naturally without you having to do anything else. You can just talk to it. It can see that's the selling point. I don't know how people are going to feel about that with people wearing those and just like we have generally reached a social thing where I don't hold my phone like this to watch it. We point the camera down to allow for the privacy of others. This doesn't do that. So it could make people uncomfortable.
shows off the pin. You can see that it comes in 3 different colors. One piece has a computer in it, the other piece has a battery in it, and then it connects to whatever you're wearing with a magnet on the back. The battery seems to be...
And if it's the same as it was when he did his TED Talk, it has a display. You hold your hand in front of it, and it displays, like, let's say a phone calls coming in. You would hold your hand in front of it, and it would use lasers to say, like, the name and number, the caller ID on your hand. Is it worth it? I don't know.
Be the magnet side. The computer seems to be the outward facing side. You can use voice, touch, and gesture to get it to do what you want, and it will also project onto your hand.
I don't know if that was
It's got a
laser.
built-in camera. It's got a speaker. It's also got a light on it that they call the truss light, so other people around you know when the camera's actually recording.
When is the next eclipse, and where is the best place to see it?
This is an AI browsing the web or grabbing.
Okay, so that light indicating when the camera's on, but then you have to get that information to everyone. You know what I mean?
Knowledge from all over the internet.
The next total solar eclipse will occur on April 8th, 2024. Best places to see it are Exmouth, Australia, and East Timor.
You can also send text messages using your voice. You just tap on the pin and you say something like, "Tell my mom I'm on my way," and then it will message your mom. They also showed off that it can help you have conversations with people that speak other languages.
Estamos casi listos para enviar la versión final.
We are almost ready to ship the final version.
Great. I can't wait. Thanks so much.
Genial. No puedo esperar. Muchas gracias.
So, what happened there?
Okay, that is going to be a selling point for a lot of people, right? And the way that you interact with it, it's reminiscent of the Star Trek Next Generation type communicator, and aesthetically that's going to appeal to people as well. So we'll see if it gets traction. This could be the next Google Glass, or it could be the next iPhone. It's difficult to say.
Is the AI auto-detected Spanish, interpreted to English, and replied back to Yanir in Spanish with my intonation.
He also showed that he can look at his hands full of almonds and ask how much protein is in these.
Yo!
And it will reflect back exactly who we are.
Oh, Lobster, thank you for the 5-pack. Oh, I gotta do the thing.
AI is ultimately a mirror, and it will reflect back exactly who we are.
Thank you, Johnny Olives. Got one for OpenSet, cool. Cinesemiotics, cool. Cinesemiotics is from the Ivan Neo No Gray community, so that's cool. RC Tycoon got one. Nice reward for that. He was banging them out earlier today. Equilibrium 5651 and one for Jenny Burns. Old Lobster's a champ. Open set. What up? What up, Sarah? Yeah, no, it's I wonder what the process is by which it determines who gets gift subs, right? Like, is it just a simple random number choice or what? It's interesting, but thank you, my friend. No, I appreciate, like, you've been showing up more and more, even in lurking is completely valid, especially in my stream. But I appreciate you. And now you have access to all my emotes.
These almonds, and it will actually respond with its best guess of how much protein you're going to get from those almonds. You can do things like look at a book and ask how much that book is online, and it will look it up for you. You can shoot first person.
I do that a lot. Like when I'm at a store, I want to know what the relative price is compared to at least similar products. So like for me, that would be something that, to give an example, I don't know that I'm ever going to get one of these. I would not want to get first gen. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, Boyd, is that you start off, right, you've got this as the standard thing, but then like the phone case allowed people to customize their phone experience. Are they going to have cases that like give it different looks? I would recommend that they do, for exactly the reason that you're talking about. If you could get this to look like the Star Trek communicator, and if it made the little tweety noise when you clicked on it, come on, man.
Camera video with it, and again it comes to $699, has a bunch of available accessories for it, and you'll be able to order it on November 16th. Seems like a pretty cool gadget to me, and kind of what I was hoping we'd be able to do.
That is, I mean, like Google Glass, right? Like that's why I brought out that as an example. You know, it's like, what's it going to do? Is this something that people want? If it's something that people actually want, then we'll see where it goes. And if the software sucks, then that's on them, dude.
Do with the Meta smart glasses, but this actually uses ChatGPT, where the Meta smart glasses are using Llama 2. This also seems to be able to browse the internet while the smart glasses can't, and this looks like it's going to have the vision mode enabled as soon as it comes out, where if you bought the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, you're still waiting on that feature to come out. Here in the US, we've had access to the Google generative search experience for a little bit now, definitely a couple months or so. Well, this week, Google rolled it out to more than 120 new countries. Some notable countries that don't appear on the list seem to be Canada, Australia, and even the UK don't seem to have access to it yet. But I will link to the article below so you can double check to see if your country has access to the new generative search experience inside of Google. I saw this tweet from Brian Romley this week about Amazon, codenamed Olympus, which is a large language model to replace the back end of Alexa, will also become a companion in shopping.
Well, one of the things real in this case that you have to take into consideration is the size and weight issue, you know? Like how like there's a bunch of stuff that goes into the phone that requires that is required for the screen. I wonder what you could get a phone down to if you didn't have a screen on it. You know, like if you did exactly what you're saying, if that was just an Android phone, but without a screen, you know. Well, it's got two parts, so they would only get half of it. But that was a thought that I had. If they don't get the back end, then it's worthless. I think you get the battery in the computer, they get the peripherals.
At Amazon's site will have your protected personal shopping history, allowing for one of the most accrue shopping GPT, and it's going to be available for free in 2024. So, of course, I went and looked it up to see if I could find more information about it. I found this Business Insider article talking about how Amazon is racing to build an AI model called Olympus to take on ChatGPT and Bard. The tech and commerce giant is developing the large language model with the aim of incorporating it into its online store and Alexa smart speakers, according to a report by The Information. The model could be unveiled as soon as December.
That's another
now,
question.
Amazon
Bill.
did just invest $4 billion into Anthropic, which is the maker of Claude. It's quite possible that
I mean, it would need like bare minimum, it would need like 8 to 10 hour lifespan minimum to be at all functional, right? Because it'd be the kind of thing that you would wear to work and use it in your work life. That I think is one of the use cases that they would be marketing that thing for. And like, especially if you're in an environment where you're interacting with people, who don't speak English, then you're getting in that translate in real time, element to it. So I can see that being a thing. And early adopters tend to come from the affluent business community. So you're going to want something that's going to work with them, which is a minimum like 10 hours, right? But I don't know.
Underlying large language model will be Anthropic's Claude. But again, everything we're reading right now is mostly rumors. Speaking of companies building their own large language models, Samsung is now working on their own generative AI model. This new model is called Gauze and powers several on-device AI technologies across Samsung products. This article here says it will have a few different facets, but will do a lot of the same stuff we've seen from most other generative AI models. So,
okay, well, first off, Samsung, the S23 is a piece of shit, and I'm fucking disappointed with you. If the phone wasn't free, I'd be mad, but I'm just disappointed and annoyed. 2, Bixby sucks, and I can't wait till you replace it with something else.
it'll do things like translation, summarizing documents, a coding assistant, and even image generating. And supposedly it's going to do this all on device. YouTube is continuing to experiment with new AI features as well. This is one that I'm particularly looking forward to, is the ability to summarize the comments of a video using AI. To help you easily understand and participate in comment conversations, we're experimenting with AI.
As an aside, my son has a extension for, he's on Opera. He's running an extension on Opera that when he goes to YouTube, every video has Mr. Beast's face on it, like it's a Mr. Beast thumbnail. Kids are weird, yo. I love them, and I'm no one to judge, but like their appreciation of the absurd is on another level.
That organizes large comment sections of long-form videos into easily digestible themes. They're also working on a conversational AI tool to help you dive deeper into the content you're watching. We're experimenting with a conversational AI tool. This tool lets you get answers to questions about the video you're watching, recommendations for related content, and more, all without
Now, what I would like out of the YouTube AI is for me to say something like, YouTube, don't ever show me a Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson video ever again. And I would like to see more videos of this type and get more videos actually of that type. Not really low quality AI videos that just suck ass.
Interrupting playback. So essentially, you're going to be able to chat with the video you're watching. You might have a chat on a video like this one and say, break down all of the AI news topics that Matt talked about in this video. And theoretically, it will give you a response and a bulleted list of all the AI I talked about in this video. There's also a new AI video generator in town. It's called Playday, spelled Plai Day. Now, this is a tool that I have a full breakdown video of coming next week. It's already recorded. It's already ready for you. You'll be able to see it on Monday. But what this Playday does is allows you to generate text to video and then swap out that video with your own face, or really any face. So now you can get consistent characters inside of text to video generations. It's pretty cool, but again, I've got a deep dive coming for you in just a couple days. It appears that the SAG-AFTRA actors strike is coming to an end. According to a statement in the Los Angeles Times, the strike officially ends at 12:01 a.m. on Thursday, November 9th. So by the time you're seeing this video, the strike should be over. Now, full details about the deal aren't going to be shared until the agreement is reviewed by the SAG-AFTRA National Board, but supposedly it has unprecedented provisions for consent and compensation that will protect members from the threat of AI. So I'm sure more details will be rolling out about this over the coming days, but it appears that they have finally come to terms. If you've ever used Polycam to do the new Gaussian splatting, they just rolled out an update that automatically eliminates common floaters. So if we take a look at their demo video here, you can see here's the original and here is the new output. A lot of that extra stuff that's floating around in the image seems to be getting cleaned up now, and we're getting just much improved generations with their new Gaussian splatting. And here's a really cool one that I came across from Chris Heinrich. I guess he reprocessed one of his old splats that he did in the past, and I just thought I'd share it because I like the way that this one came out. This week, Blockade Labs also rolled out a really cool feature. They have this 360-degree skybox generator here. If I give it a prompt like a colorful cartoon video game world, let's give it a kid's CGI animation render and click generate. Here's the 360 world that it generated for me, but they just added a new feature. It's in beta, so not everybody has it yet, but if I click on download, you can see they now have a 3D mesh creator. And if I click launch 3D mesh creator, I can actually turn this into a wireframe like this and see what it looks like with a low density wireframe, a medium density wireframe, a high density wireframe. And I can also mess with the depth scale of these wireframes. So let me turn the wireframe off so you can kind of get a better look at what this looks like. But I can change the depth scale here and turn this not only into a 360 world, but a 3D 360 world. And once I've got the depth the way I like it, I can download the GLB file here and essentially open it in any sort of 3D software. You can see I can look around in this thing that I created in my little 3D viewer here on Windows. You could pull it into Blender or pull it into whatever software you use to mess with your 3D generations and meshes. And to wrap up, this video has been circulating, which is an actual physical real world video generation machine. So this will actually generate videos using.
Yeah, I saw this. I didn't talk about it because, like, one, first gen stuff is not necessarily like, yeah, it's probably not going to be ideal. But the other thing is, like, I don't think that the software that's going to run on this is where it needs to be to create a physical object. But we're in an environment where first to market means something, so I don't know if GPT can, but like we are, it's happening so fast. Like just a couple, May was when the Nightmare videos were coming out, Nightmare AI commercial videos. So 6 months ago. It's wild. Other than that, like as far as the aesthetics of this device, like maybe it just doesn't look like it has enough controls on it to do something. But who I haven't touched it, I don't know.
Using AI where you basically set little storyboard frames, you can set style, set music, and press a button, and it will actually generate a unique AI generated video all inside of the device. Now, this was posted by Cristobal.
Yeah, again, like this feels like something that should be a program on the computer, like a website I can go to do all these things, as opposed to having an actual, physical object. But
Paul, the CEO of Runway, I'm not sure if this is.
This was made in March. Made in March. Made in March. Yeah. And like you can see it. Can I pause it? I can't. Like you can see all the different, issues with it. But even that, like for the time, this is actually pretty damn good. Yeah, this is a little closer to Nightmare Fueled. Because like when he turns and looks at you, it gets a little weird real quick. But yeah. Again, 6 months. That's some big bullshit. 6 months. Where are we going to be in 6 months?
Something that's for sale or just sort of a fun prototype that they're showing
that's
off.
Good.
But
that's
looks pretty
really
cool.
good.
I mean,
old
I don't
lobster.
even believe you need to be connected to the internet to use it. It does all of the generation in device. And that's all I got for you this week. I'm recording this on Thursday. Release.
Yeah, I just don't see where that would be an advantage. Like, yeah, you don't have to connect to the internet, but like, where would you want to use it where you didn't? Are you going to like, outer Alaska in order to generate AI videos? It's just weird. Like it's neat, but like I don't know that it has any value. But hey, keep making neat stuff. But yeah, like it's good to keep examples and like stick those pins in the different points in time so that you can reference how quickly this technology is developing. Thank you, Matt. AI Explained.
As you may have noticed, there have been one or two things happening in the world of AI this week. We've had a bit of time to take it in, but of course it will take weeks and months to test everything out. Let's bring you some of the best bits now though, from a custom GPT I made, to the interestingly named new Grok, Gauss and Olympus models, Whisper v3, better text to video, an AGI tier list from DeepMind, and much more. But I'm going to start kind of randomly with the update to how current ChatGPT is.
We're also updating the knowledge cutoff. We are just as annoyed as all of you, probably more, that GPT-4's knowledge about the world ended in 2021. We will try to never let it get that out of date again. GPT-4 Turbo has knowledge about the world up to April of 2023.
And my only comment on that is that this means that GPT-4 has knowledge of itself for the first time. While GPT-4 was trained in August of 2022, it wasn't released until March of 2023. So GPT-4 should know a lot more about how it's trained and some of the latest advances in AI. But how much can the new GPT-4 Turbo process at once? Well, 128,000 tokens, which is approximately 100,000 words in English.
GPT-4 supported up to 8K, and in some cases up to 32K context length. But we know that isn't enough for many of you and what you want to do. GPT-4 Turbo supports up to 128,000 tokens of context. That's 300 pages of a standard book, 16 times longer than our 8K context.
Don't assume, though, that just because it...
300 pages of a standard book? Again. Dictator's Handbook is right around 300 pages. So that's the entirety of this book. So you can put a PDF of the Dictator's Handbook into a GPT and be able to query the book directly. Taters, Brett. Taters.
It can process that many words that it will be equally accurate at comprehending all of them. This analysis from yesterday showed that when you're trying to retrieve a fact from a document, particularly one of more than about 80,000 words or 100,000 tokens, if you placed that fact at between 10 to 50% through the document, retrieval started to get pretty bad. If the fact was towards the end of a document, or you submitted fewer words or tokens, performance was much higher. The good news, though, is that GPT-4 Turbo, the 11.06 preview, is much better than previous iterations of GPT-4 at retrieving facts from those context lengths. So yes, even though performance does degrade the more tokens or words you submit, it's better than before. But again, better than before still isn't even close to perfect.
Surprising no one, DALL-E 3, GPT-4 Turbo with Vision, and the new text-to-speech model are all going into the API today.
And I'm going to give you a taste of the kind of things these new APIs unlock. We have this implementation by Robert Lukoshko, integrating GPT Vision API and allowing you just to clip out bits of a screen and ask questions about it.
Art I'm interested in, and the GPT-4 is going to answer me, what is it? It's heap joint region. And what about this part? What is it? I'm not giving it even any context. It just knows. This is Schrödinger's equation. Let's try this part. What is it? Potential energy term. And let's say I'm really into the cars, but I just don't know what is this your orange stick. What is this orange stick? Engine oil dipstick.
What about Webcam GPT? I think the kind of people who will use this are those who want to maximize their productivity, and they're going to get their webcam to check if they're working. Of course, let's hope that companies don't use it, as they have been known to do, to monitor their employees. And we also got a new text-to-speech model, which people are already integrating with GPT Vision.
Can you believe this? He's taken on the whole defense. He's a one-man show, ladies and gentlemen. He shoots. Goal! Messi, Messi, Messi! Unbelievable. What a goal. What a goal. Glorious. Absolutely glorious.
One thing I've noticed in the evolution of this process with David, Matt Wolf, and AI Explained is that there is a lot more crossover in their content. And I'm not sure what that means.
Glorious. The stadium explodes in joy. This is football magic at its finest.
And then, of course, we have Whisper version 3, which can understand speech and convert it into text. Models like Whisper v3 and Conformer 2 will change how we use the internet in the not-too-distant future.
Speaking of new modalities, we're also releasing the next version of our open-source speech recognition model, Whisper v3 today, and it'll be coming soon to the API. It features improved performance across many languages, and we think you're really going to like it.
This chart shows the word error rate across a range of languages for Whisper v3 and v2. A drop means an improvement, and surprisingly, English isn't the most accurate language. If you happen to speak Dutch, Spanish, or Korean, you might be in for a better time. Of course, if you speak one of the lower resource languages like Bengali, it might be a bit harder to use. Just quickly though, I did pick up on this somewhat brief remark Sam Altman made about GPT-4 Turbo being smarter.
GPT-4 Turbo is the industry-leading model. It delivers a lot of improvements that we just covered, and it's a smarter model than GPT-4.
I've started my own investigations, as have others, and the results aren't uniformly better. And in fact, for some use cases, GPT-4 Turbo performs worse. This was a test for SAT reading by Jeffrey Wang. There does need to be far more thorough investigations, but I wish they released some benchmarks along with that claim. And there were two moments from the guest appearance of the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, that I found particularly interesting. First, he promised OpenAI the most compute.
The systems that are needed as you aggressively push forward on your roadmap requires us to be on the top of our game. And we intend fully to commit ourselves deeply to making sure you all, as builders of these foundation models, have not only the best systems for training and inference, but the most compute so that you can keep pushing forward on the frontiers, because I think that that's the way we're going to make progress.
Why is that relevant? Because it seems at the moment, every mega corporation in the world is going to come out with their own language model. Many of you may have seen the publicity over Grok from xAI. It's been trained on Twitter and apparently it replies to more spicy questions. They tested the new Grok 1 across a range of benchmarks, although some people have complained about the settings they used. Either way, on these benchmarks, it did seem to be somewhat firmly beating GPT 3.5, the original ChatGPT. But notice that on these benchmarks, it was falling way behind Claude 2. That's on the MMLU testing for general knowledge, Human Eval for coding, and GSM 8K for mathematics. They also gave this human-graded evaluation comparison on an exam produced after all of these models were trained. And on that, Grok 1 outperforms even Claude 2 and way outperforms GPT 3.5. Now, many have complained about the way that the models were evaluated, but I've talked before with SmartGPT about the discrepancies that can arise with human grading and automatic grading. This just reaffirms the need for me for new authoritative hand-graded benchmarks. Pricey, but well worth it. And they're not the only one, with Amazon building a model called Olympus, which apparently is going to have 2 trillion parameters. This article says that's twice the size of GPT-4, but according to what I've seen, it's more like about 10% bigger. Problem is, of course, it's not all about the parameter size, it's about how you use those parameters. So I don't personally predict that the Amazon model will be more powerful than GPT-4. And even Samsung are getting into the game with a model that can also produce text, code, and images. That's apparently going to be incorporated into their next round of phones, and I will be there to test.
I'm just thinking of the Samsung fridge or stove that has a generative AI in it. And then, of course, I can immediately think of ways that could actually be helpful.
Test it, hopefully. But back to the OpenAI Dev Day, where they confirmed that we can now use different modalities of GPT-4 all in the same window.
ChatGPT now uses GPT-4 Turbo. With all the latest improvements, including the latest knowledge cutoff, which will continue to update, that's all live today. It can now browse the web when it needs to, write and run.
Hey, Igloo, have you, did you end up going through with that? Or you, have you been using ChatGPT? Any notes, any experiences you'd like to share with the class? Okay, yeah, if you're paying for it, you got the thing. Any commentary?
Code, analyze data, take and generate images, and much more. And we heard your feedback, that model picker, extremely annoying. That is gone starting today. You will not have to click around the drop-down menu. All of this will just work together.
I decided to test that out and asked 3 things in one. All in one prompt, I asked use Bing to get the live market cap of Microsoft and Apple. Then use Code Interpreter to calculate the % difference. I definitely don't trust the base GPT-4 to get that calculation correct. And then I asked output an image that captures which market cap is bigger. Now, of course, market capitalization changes all the time, but these figures are broadly accurate. And this Apple figure is indeed 5.32% bigger than Microsoft's figure, but it was the final part.
What is the sous chef thing?
Incorporating DALL-E 3 that I found the most impressive. It created the image you can see here with the Apple skyscraper being slightly bigger I would argue around 5% bigger than the Microsoft Tower, albeit with the hallucination of an A in Microsoft. It was around this point in the presentation that Sam Altman mentioned AGI. But before I take a look at that comment and a new AGI tier list paper from Google DeepMind, I thought we'd take a brief interlude and enjoy this incredible update to Gen 2 from Runway.
Yeah. Okay. And that's like, that goes into what I've been saying about UI and like, and usability for regular people. If you make it something like that, where I don't even have to think, I could just take a picture and it will just output that information. Yeah, that's going to be a selling point for people. Right, taking my experience of asking ChatGPT when I find something. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you got that worked out. Like my experience of asking ChatGPT to develop a recipe based on what is like on sale, I could take a picture of it in the store and just let it do its thing. And that'd be pretty cool.
Runway ML. At the end of the video, you're going to see an even more impressive demo, I think, of this technology. But just before we get back to Sam, what do you think?
Tonight is movie night. Tonight will be unknown killer robots.
About a physical device for video editing generated by AI. This is called the First AI Machine.
Okay, so the more I learn, the less I like. Like the push button to switch image thing, like I assume like it's just randomly generating an image. Like I don't like this at all. Yeah, I hate this now. But I feel like I could do more with a laptop reel. Like that's what I'm saying is like because it's got like these 6 options, unexpected future, these 5 musical options. It just like there's not enough of what it might be trying to do to actually make it mean something. Right? But I'm not talking about the pictures. It's these are, there's nothing you can do about this. Corporate Ladder and Country, those are printed on the casing. So, yeah, maybe this is art, like a device made just to show what could be someday. If they're actually selling this thing and people buy it, nah, brah.
Now here's Sam Altman's quick comment to Satya Nadella on AGI.
Well, I think we have the best partnership in tech. I'm excited for us to build AGI together.
No, I'm really excited. Have a fantastic
Thank you very much for coming.
That brought to mind a paper I read from Google DeepMind this week. It's called Levels of AGI, and it's very much based on the idea of the levels of autonomous driving. And I do admire their intent to create a more clear definition of AGI. For example, level 2 competent AGI, level 4 virtuoso AGI. With so many AGI predictions out there, as shown in my previous video, though, clear definitions are quite important. But I do have some questions for the authors that I would want clarified. For example, they say competent AGI, which has not yet been achieved, is when the AI is at least 50th percentile of skilled adults. That compares to emerging AGI, which is equal or somewhat better than an unskilled human. And in one of their later examples, they talk about mathematics. But what counts as being skilled in mathematics? Are we talking about being better than the median high school graduate in mathematics? Being better than the median college student in mathematics? Or are we talking being better than the median professional mathematician? To me, they never made that clear, and it makes a big difference to the benchmark. If we're just talking about those graduating high school or secondary school, GPT-4 is already better than the median person there in mathematics. If we're talking about elite professional mathematicians, when it's better than the 50th percentile of those, we are getting really close to superintelligence. Also, the authors confused me somewhat on page 7 when they said this: a competent AGI must have performance at least at the 50th percentile for skilled, again not defined, adult humans on most cognitive tasks. So it's not about being average at all tasks, it's apparently about being average at most tasks. But I could well imagine a situation where, say, GPT-5 is well above average for 90% of tasks, but its capacity for purely abstract reasoning is down at the 10th or 20th percentile. And even though that would meet this definition of a competent AGI, many people would say it's not really AGI. In that scenario, it wouldn't fundamentally be understanding what it's performing so well in. So again, definitions really do matter, and this is a step forward, but doesn't go all the way to a solution for me. I did also note this on page 7. The rate of progression between levels of performance and or generality may be non-linear, not in a straight line. Acquiring the capability to learn new skills may particularly accelerate progress toward the next level. Going back to that table, I think that's something really worth noting. Imagine a virtuoso AGI that's better than 99% of skilled people across a range of domains. But those skills would include machine learning, chip design, curriculum learning. And of course, that virtuoso AGI can just be duplicated, so there's a billion of them running. And surely a billion virtuoso AGIs would be able to create the next level ASI much quicker than they themselves were created. It seems like others are getting that sense of acceleration too, with the co-founder and CEO of Runway ML, as we've seen, saying decades worth of progress happened this year. A year's worth of progress is now happening in months. Months worth of progress will start to happen in days. I personally don't think we have quite reached that point in AI, but the momentum is definitely building. Going back to the paper, toward the end, it read a bit like a screenplay for X-Men. Talking of artificial superintelligence, the paper said, non-human skills that an ASI might have could include capabilities such as neural interfaces, perhaps through mechanisms such as analyzing brain signals to decode thoughts, oracular abilities, being an oracle, perhaps through mechanisms such as analyzing large volumes of data to make high-quality predictions, or the ability to communicate with animals. That would be amazing, perhaps by mechanisms such as analyzing patterns in their vocalizations, brainwaves, or body language. The paper also talked about the level of autonomy that we might give to AI, again graded across 5 levels. But I bet David Shapiro has got something to say about the possible societal scale ennui, that's boredom or lethargy, that might accompany expert AGI that drives interaction, with humans only providing guidance and feedback. Anyway, let's get back to what you can do now, which is create your own
I love that they're referencing each other now. It makes me happy. We get some dogs to start looking at pictures while hooked up to some of this shit, and we got talking dogs in the ear. Do you want talking dogs? Do you want like a device that goes on your dog and it goes, hey, 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 hey?
Chatbot, your own GPT. I luckily got early access to this and have been playing about a bit with it. First thing I did was create a bot of Ivan Ilyich, the star of an amazing short story by Tolstoy, The Death of Ivan Ilyich. All I did was create a description and instructions for GPT-4 Turbo and created an image of Ivan Ilyich with DALL-E 3. I gave it knowledge of the entire short story by just uploading a document with the short story. I think I'm allowed to do that in terms of copyright, but copyright doesn't seem to mean much anymore. Anyway, all I wanted to really demonstrate was that this Ivan Ilyich bot would know the story better than base GPT-4. For example, here is normal GPT-4. For how many days did Ivan Ilyich scream in the famous short story The Death of Ivan Ilyich? It seems to think I'm quoting a document and says error reading documents, but anyway, can't answer the question. That short story probably is in its pre-training data, but it can't retrieve the information well enough. But my Ivan Ilyich bot can, even with such a direct question as, for how many days did you scream? Acting in character, it said, for the last 3 days of my life. And that is correct based on the short story. What I'm now working on, probably with thousands of other creators, is an AI explained bot, getting the transcripts of my video and turning it into an imitative chatbot. I asked, well, myself, what sort of timelines are people using for AGI? And drawing on one of my recent videos, it outputted a fairly decent answer. As you might expect, I've been testing out many of the other GPTs, including...
Don't gloss over, homie. Shane Legg, 50% chance by 2028. Sam Altman, 2030, 2031. Paul Cristiano did the thing with the Dyson Sphere. 15% capable by 2030, 40% 2040. Not capable of building a Dyson Sphere, but that it would be capable of doing it. Uh-oh. What must I understand? Hey, I'd like to point out that that link says Twitter. What now? You can just download the knowledge files from GPTs. Oh, you mean if I put my PDF in there, that is public information? That better be written down somewhere. that could happen, that it's on you. Yeah, I don't know, like, I know that you can publish bots just for yourself, but still, that would be like, that would be a concern, right? Like, if I was making something with my personal finances in it, even if it was just for myself, the fact that this process even exists without some sort of guardrail. Yeah. It's still the internet, everybody. You still need to use internet protocols.
Timelines are people using for AGI. And drawing on one of my recent videos, it outputted a fairly decent answer. As you might expect, I've been testing out many of the other GPTs, including those made by third parties. But honestly, the OpenAI GPTs don't seem that much better than the generic version. For example, I tried out the Math Mentor, and it couldn't seem to answer math questions any better than generic GPT-4. I also tested the...
Like, it wouldn't even... This is one of those things. It wouldn't occur to me to give it private data, right? Like the thing I'm talking about giving it publicly available rules to board games to build GPTs, because like I'm, that is, and that's probably to conserve resources, real. I could understand why, but wouldn't you be able to put that in your custom instructions? If you put that in your custom instructions, maybe it enables that all the time?
The meme GPT, and it didn't seem to understand any more memes than the base GPT. Apparently, later this month, we are going to get a GPT store, so there should be many more GPTs to test out soon. According to Sam Altman, bringing in just a smidgen of hype, all of these developments are just the start.
As intelligence gets integrated everywhere, we will all have superpowers on demand. We hope that you'll come back next year. What we launched today is going to look very quaint relative to what we're busy creating for you now.
Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and I'm going to leave you with this creation from Infinite Yay. They use Midjourney, the new Runway, and Stable Audio. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, still in Shroom Trip land, but getting better.
So OpenAI unleashed some.
All right, sorry we didn't get to bot swarms. I wanted to get to all these, not this one, but all these 5 videos, and we didn't get to those today because I talked for a long time in the beginning. So, figure start time for movie night will be about 8:30. The movie's only an hour long, so it's a shorter one today. I'm going to send you over to Astro Canuck. Eastern. The only time zone that matters. I kid. Yeah, so in just about a half an hour. If you want to partake, there's the Discord link. Come on in, and it will be in the watch together. It's also good to be in the Discord because that's where all the videos and links go. And if you want access to the stuff later on, it's a real easy place to go find things. Yeah, I just need a break because I gotta take care of real life stuff, so I can't flow in. That's my life, dear. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna go right into Astro Canuck. They're unpacking something. But good content over there. Good dude. In the meantime, drink your water, eat some food, take your meds if you forgot. Shoggy loves you. So do I.